Hey everybody, so last night I saw Booksmart, directed by Olivia Wilde, starring Caitlin Decker and Beanie Feldstein. One of the better comedies I have seen over the last few years. However, it's hard to look at this movie and not get the sense of other coming-of-age films that have come out before it, especially Superbad. Unfortunately, the film does not do anything particularly revolutionary, in my opinion. There are a few really good and fun things this movie does throughout with its characters and situations, but a lot of it feels as if it has been done in other movies. And that's not to say it copies other movies or it's a bad thing necessarily, but I can see clear elements of things that come from other coming of age films such as Juno, American Pie, both 21 and 22 Jump Streets, but most heavily from Superbad. And I feel that this is a great comparison, this movie. It is a great female Superbad that we've never really seen before, surprisingly. It's surprising that Superbad, a movie that was as revolutionary and beloved as it is, never got a female equivalency to it. With so many comedies that come out every year, it's surprising that it's taken 12 years for the female Superbad, or at least the first good female Superbad to come out. It's just very surprising that in Hollywood, the copycat market never really thought to do something like this. It is a very funny movie, and the chemistry between Dever and Feldstein really enforced that. They're great, and it's the best part of the film. The dialogue between the two, it was stellar, and they really played great off of each other. The situations they got into were great and created some very funny moments. Unfortunately, this movie hits a wall where it really slows down, in my opinion. Once they get to the party where they've been trying to get to all night, the movie and the story really slowed down, and it's stuck in the spot where it's really not moving anywhere. There's a lot of character progression that goes on in this scene and in this bit that probably takes off what feels like a good half of the movie. And it's character building for all the characters that are there, every character you've seen throughout the movie. It just really stalls and slows down, in my opinion, where not much is going on. And unfortunately, some of the best moments of this movie were already in the trailer. A lot of great jokes and situational comedy was used for the advertising, and I wish it had been left and saved for the film. As an avid film viewer and goer, I like to sit during a movie and pick out what scenes and lines were used in the trailers and make a little game of it for myself. And a lot of the best jokes and situations were put into the trailers and the advertising, and it really took a lot of the punch out of the jokes for me personally, only because I've seen a lot of them a few times within the last few days where it's really stuck in my memory. I hadn't seen any advertising or really anything for this movie until about 2 weeks ago when I first saw that it got a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes on a TV commercial. And a lot of the good jokes were used in that commercial. And I really wish they had just saved a lot of that stuff for the movie. And I understand it's hard for a comedy to really find something that's not a joke to be put into your trailer. And that's what worries me about the movie Good Boys coming out later this summer. But I wish they had left a lot of these things to the movie itself and really let that joke not be seen and let the audience see it for the first time sitting down for the movie once we've paid for it. The dramatic beats in this movie worked really well and hit home for me. I thought that Wilde's directing was superb. There were a lot of interesting shots and angles she used, and I can't really complain about anything from a directing standpoint. What works about this movie works exceptionally well. It is written witty, acted great, and looks awesome, and has its own identity to which I really enjoyed. The only negative thing I have to say about Booksmart was that I didn't find it particularly original, like I already said. A lot of it takes a lot of hints and situations from other movies, and I noticed this throughout the film, and it was really distracting to me. It was hard to separate this movie from Superbad. It really, really was. It does its own thing, but a lot of the times it was hard for me to sit down in this movie and not see Superbad a lot of the time. They get into very, very different situations, and they're very, very different characters with their different motivations. But it's just hard for me to see a movie like this and not also see Superbad at the same time. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it doesn't really help this movie. Other than that, I thought it was a great comedy, and I'm going to give Booksmart a 7.6 out of 10.